To stage. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Friday the 13th. March is just kind of creeping on by real quick. Next Friday is first day of spring. We got St. Patty's Day on Monday. And yeah. Tommy Stiggs, good morning. Good to see you, sir. CG2, hello. How are you? Hope you guys are doing well. I took a couple days off. It's funny how when you do this show, you do a show every day about the news. This isn't about the news. This is about the videos that come across my feed on X, basically. So, I mean, every news is a subjective statement. It's just videos that I see that I play. But it's funny when you see a video, like I haven't done the show for a couple days. So I'll look at videos and then I'll say, I'll play that video maybe. But then 2 days later, it's completely erased from our memory. It's not, those videos no longer exist. Things that happened 3 days ago, forgotten about. No one cares. On to the next false flag. And we do have a lot of them. Some people think that Bibi is dead, that Benjamin Netanyahu was killed, and pretty much right away they got his ass, which is a possibility. He could already be dead. So, and honestly, I hope he is. I hope they fucking killed that motherfucker. I'm just going to say that point blank. I hope he's dead. It sounds too good to be true, though. So, we shall see. But we got a bunch of different videos out there. The White House UFC card, complete garbage. The UFC is just a watered down version of what it used to be. So we'll look at that. Candace Owens played a video of Charlie Kirk from behind yesterday. First time we got to see behind footage. And it's just so weird because you would think if somebody were to get shot in the neck, man, you don't see anything. The very first thing you see is the necklace fly out. How is that possible? You get shot in the neck with the rifle, the 30-06, but the first thing that you see from behind is a necklace fly out. That doesn't make any sense. Only thing that could cause that is some type of explosion near, on, or around that cross necklace. So we'll look at that. And a civil war is on the horizon, I believe. You know, in the media, it's here already, you know. Basically, it's just there's a line drawn in the sand between the people that are for Israel and the Zionist movement, because Israel is a false nation created in 1948. It's not a real country. It's just a bunch of shifty Jews. Let's just say what it is. It's a place where pedophiles go to not get prosecuted. So it's going to be those people against the people, you know, and we have a lot of people in this country with power that are Muslim. They just are. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, we don't need to turn into a Muslim country, but I'm just saying that is going to be the civil war that brew, and it's already been brewing. But you've got Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly basically spearheading it. Call it a psyop, call it anything, but it's there. They're going at each other's throats, and it's going to grow. Piers Morgan's involved, and you guys will see too. Like in the military, same thing's going to happen. We got Pete Hegseth, who is such a false prophet. He tries to be very divisive, and there's just going to be a storm brewing within the military. I think if we have a civil war in this country, it could be our military fights itself, which would be fucking wild. You never know. Anyway, we'll get into all that. And if you would like to buy any chocolate, I am selling chocolate once again online. I will pin my business email in the chat. Put user in timeout, ban and delete user in their comments. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. I just want to pin it. Star it. I'll put a star by it. Fox News host. Fox News host. Megyn Kelly. Are you? Yes. Yes, I am. ALV asked me to send some chocolate for his daughter for Easter last year, and I never did it. I quit doing it because Gerard ordered some chocolate, and he never got it. He ordered 2 Dubai bars, and he never got them. We waited. They never came. I go back to the post office with the tracking number, and they just give me some weird story. We don't know what happened to it. So he had to get it. I gave him his money back, and I quit doing it because I'm like, But I've had success mailing a couple other things lately, so I'm going to try it again. And I can fit 3 Dubai bars, up to 3 Dubai bars, and 8 chocolate pecan turtles in one box. The bars are $20 each. If you want the turtles, they're $10, and shipping is $10. So you can email me and we can figure it out. I also have a few other products that you can order as well. If it's any more than that, I have to go with the bigger box, and it's just the shipping that's going to kill us, but it is what it is, depending on what you want to order. But I think for the next couple months, I'm going to advertise selling chocolate online. Give it a shot. When I am home on a regular, I'll order my girl something. Okay, awesome, CG2. I appreciate that. Yeah, no one has to order anything. I don't expect anybody to order things. Just if you want to, I know people ask from time to time, so I'll just probably advertise it once at the beginning of the show, once at the end, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So what else is going on? We'll be going back out selling today. The last 2 days have not been good. I went out. Wednesday was one of the only, I think there's only been one other day in the 5 years I've been doing this where I didn't make any money, which is wild to think about. You think there'd be at least a few more days than that. But yeah, Wednesday I was out. I can only stay out there for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours because I had to babysit. Not one sale. And then yesterday, couple sales. And then I stopped at a couple different places on my way home. And I made 3 sales at one place. And then I got a couple people say, come back today at another place. So, been kind of rough. Yes, I do make my own Dubai bars. Donna's doing it. Good morning. Good to see you. Let's see here. Do I have a video of the bars? So, yeah, here's a couple videos.
Yummy.
So that's actually my ex on there. She's the one that got me into the business. Those are her hands breaking that open. That's her bar. She started making them first. I always end up kind of feeding off of her. She told me to start making them. And my granddaughter in the background yelling yummy. Now this is AOV. This is AOV doing a commercial for me and me making the bars.
All right. We're going to make some sensual chocolate today on the Tommy Stiggs Hour. As you can see, I gently, with love, place that chocolate in every crevice. Little by little, I cover it lovingly. I can just taste the delicate and beautiful chocolate reeling through my mouth and into my pores. It's an experience you'll never forget.
Awesome. I need that for a commercial.
There is your clip, Mossada. That is going to sell it right there.
So there you have it. There's the commercial. I need to make a couple more commercials for those. Good morning, Jack. Isn't that funny? That is hilarious. But yeah, no, they're handmade. I have dark chocolate and milk chocolate. The bars, the chocolate themselves, the bars probably weigh about 7 ounces total. 3 ounces of pistachio paste and phyllo dough in the middle, and then the bars vary between 3 to 3.5 ounces because it's not an exact science when I make them. Yeah, I've made quite a few of those bars. I would say definitely hundreds of them. I don't know if I've made 1,000 of them, but I've made several hundred for sure. I don't know what the total number. I was buying pistachio paste in 5-gallon buckets. 3 of those and probably 15 of the 7-pound cans. I mean, it's incredible how much stuff I make. We had a little vendor drama yesterday. I get a text from Misty, the lady who owns the country market that I sell at. And she tells me that the cheesecake guys are pissed off at me because yesterday, and I've been talking about this, that I want to upgrade my packaging. And I created some cool labels, ordered some boxes off Amazon, and put my cheesecakes in these boxes with labels on them with huckleberry. You know, I make my own huckleberry filling. Everything I make is original. And then I did another cheesecake with strawberry crunch that I make handmade and a chocolate strawberry on top. Strawberry crunch, chocolate strawberry that I make. All original. And I made my own labels, put them in boxes. And these people have the fucking nerve to tell her that, do I realize that I'm copying their boxes? That people are going to mistake my cheesecakes for their cheesecakes. Because they're the almighty cheesecake makers of the universe. Like they fucking invented cheesecakes. Oh, that fucking pissed me off. So it's neither here nor there, but you know, some people take themselves too seriously, think they're a little too bigger than they are. My car is at the mechanic, so I get to be home with the guys today. Took me a month to get it in. He was booked a month out, but yes, nice. Well, it sounds like he's probably a good mechanic. I wish I was there. I'd fix for free and a lunch. Nice. Yeah, so I had to deal with that. Just a couple. I've had. You just have to roll with the punches sometimes. It's not easy being calling balls and strikes in a libtard town. I'll tell you that. That is for sure. Uno momento here. Go grab some water really quick. Hold on. My computer's freezing up on me. Just give me 1 second here. Nope. There we go.
Attention homeowners, I want to buy your house right now, as is, no matter what condition it's in. And not only do I want to buy your house, but I want to put cash in your hands and help you move forward on the timeline that works best for you.
You look like a pedophile. I wouldn't give you $1. I wouldn't let you around my kids, nothing. Get off my screen, please.
That we have been following here as we're learning 4 U.S. service members have been killed. Here's a post here from CENTCOM shared just a short time ago. We're learning 4 U.S. service members were killed when a KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in western Iraq yesterday afternoon. U.S. Central Command confirmed early this morning that the refueling aircraft went down around 2 p.m. Eastern time. 4 of the 6 crew members aboard the aircraft have been confirmed dead as rescue efforts continue. And we do want to just share with you a bit more information as we continue to learn more about this. The circumstances surrounding the incident remain under investigation. Officials said the loss of the aircraft was not the result of hostile fire or friendly fire. The identities of the service members are being withheld pending notification of next of kin and will be released 24 hours after those notifications are complete. A second U.S. official said another KC-135 was in.
Prayers out to those guys. It's just incredible. Yeah. Sorry guys, I totally forgot what I was fucking talking about on the last video. I didn't expect to play that one right now. I forgot I had that one on there. Oh, I got to get off of YouTube. The leg. These deaths are just wrong on every level. Sacrificing lives for what? Yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. You know, like I said, I hope that Bibi was taken out personally, so that this whole thing can just be over with. Because Iran's not giving up. They're not going to give up. Do I have too many things opened up? Is that my problem here? Let's see here. Close that. Close that. Close that. There we go. Yeah, so one of the things that's going on that's just kind of neither here nor there is the UFC is having a White House event coming up, I think, in June. And Joe Rogan said it's kind of weird that we're having a fight on the lawn of the White House during a war. Not only that, you're not going to hear it because all those guys are under contracts. But the reason why the card is so garbage is because who would want to fight? I mean, Trump ruined my business. You know, I stood up for that guy on Facebook, you know, rah, 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 let's get him elected. And then told everybody to fuck off when Trump got shot. And people were saying, oh, you know, how they shouldn't have missed. Best 2 out of 3, you know. And I'm online just getting crucified by people because I'm standing up for Trump. That they shouldn't talk about. Everybody has a right to run for office and not get shot in the face. And, you know, just being sick of what this country is doing to us for the last 4 years under Biden. But I'm smart enough to know, because I've known this my whole fucking life, that there's no difference between the Republicans and the Democrat. That presidents are not elected, that they're selected. It's an auction, and it goes to the highest bidder. That's the truth. And I fell for it, and I feel like a fool. And it cost me thousands of dollars, actually. Thousands, if I'm being completely honest. Thousands. And I'm fucking poor. Because people got so fucking pissed off that I was a Trump supporter. And it still bite me in the ass to this day. And I'm never going to fucking do that again. Never. Fuck that motherfucker. I hate Trump. Not too many people I fucking hate. I hate that motherfucker, man. I went from loving that guy to hating that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what happens to him. You know, I literally cannot wait for this to be over with. You know, thank God he cannot run again, that he's a lame duck. And we're not going to let him pull no fucking bullshit to stay in office. And the problem is that there is no other options out there, that this is not going to end well for anybody. Unfortunately, we're going to get replacement migration, and we're going to wake up and we're going to have fucking 10-story houses next to us. And you're going to wake up and we're just going to be fucking outnumbered and outclassed, because we don't have the training to build missiles, as Trump said, you know. Iran prepared for this for decades. Yes, they have. And as predicted, you know, they're not going nowhere. They kill Ayatollah Khomeini. Now his son's in charge. His son is way worse. His son is pissed off. And you know what's really fucked up about the whole situation is what they did to that school. That is a war crime. Pete Hegseth needs to be hung in public for that. That is a war crime. They purposely hit a school. You have to plug in coordinates on those Tomahawk missiles. You know, I think they get launched from, that one was launched, I believe, from 800 or 900 miles away. And they have an accuracy of 32 feet on average, but it's a lot closer than that now. And they killed, most of those girls survived in that school on the initial impact. And then the parents were called, the rescuers got there, they put everybody in a prayer hall, and the decision was made to hit that school again. And that's when they killed everybody, including the parents and everybody. And those were, I believe, you know, Iranian military officials had their kids in those schools, some of them. But they hit it, and then, you know, they're watching. They know what's going on down there. And then they hit it again and kill all those innocent kids. That's what we did. And they admitted it now. Trump was lying through his teeth. I don't know about it. It's still under investigation. Everybody has those missiles. No, motherfucker, you know what you did. And we can't, no one's going to fucking stand for that. Fuck that shit. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, we want Iran to win the war. But everybody knows that it's for Israel. It's for these shifty Jewish Zionists. It's no offense against people that are Jewish. You know, it's like, we don't need to get sensitive about religion, but it is what it is. Israel is a Jewish state. We all know what this is. It's all tied to Jeffrey Epstein. It's all tied to these people that run these cabals and mafias, and they're above the law. They commit crimes on kids and everybody else, and then they run to Israel to avoid prosecution. A lot of them have dual citizenships. And we're getting fucking sick and tired of it. We didn't even know about this shit till now. Even us hardcore fucking conspiracy theorists, we're not privy to this fucking shit. Now it all makes sense. We talk about who, you know, I know people are out there fucking controlling the weather. I know people are out there fucking controlling gambling and the outcomes of sports. But I say it's the government. But I didn't know who it was. Now I fucking know who's doing it. Not people exactly by name, but the assassination of Charlie Kirk really dialed in. We actually get to see faces and names of people that are involved in Raytheon and all of these trafficking organizations throughout the country in China, Africa, Romania. It's all military related. You know, we got a glimpse into what it looks like inside the deep state. And it's a lot bigger than I thought. It ain't, you know, we're not going to fucking stop it. But the most we can do is try to expose it a little bit. I think the best we can hope for literally is a civil war. Yeah, then lied about it at first, about the school children. Yeah. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. But anyway, back to the White House and the UFC card. Colby Covington, this is a perfect example of the backstabber that Trump is. Colby Covington was hardcore Trumpster. You know, everybody was making fun of Colby because he went to go literally kiss Trump's hand at one point. Trump had to pull his hand away, calling him the greatest president of all time, wearing the Make America Great hat again when it wasn't popular way back when. You know, Trump. Nobody was bigger than Trump than Colby Covington, especially in the UFC. It was Dana White and Colby Covington. And he doesn't get a fight on the card. So I don't understand why that is. That's what I was. And, you know, they said there was a card that fell through. I don't know if this is the one they were talking about, but it makes no sense. Although I think that there's something wrong with Colby's eye. He doesn't look the same.
And then they just have me sitting around for the last 14 months doing nothing, twiddling my thumbs. They haven't offered me one fucking fight. They're supposed to be offering me 3 fights a year by contractual law. So, you know, I'm not trying to get into a suing match or a pissing match, but it's just not fair to me. You know, they're not giving me an opportunity to earn. And it's shitty because it's like, dude, not only are you not giving me a chance to earn, you're not letting me earn anywhere else. So, Dennis, we're treated as independent contractors, but they're treating me like an employee right now because I tried to go wrestle and do a jiu-jitsu match against Arm, and they said, no active UFC guys are allowed to compete against each other outside the UFC. So I'm like, what? How does that make sense? We're independent contractors, but you're treating me like an employee. You're saying that if I wash this house, I can't go wash another house to make money? It's just, they're treating me unfairly, and I'm sick of it, man. They've done me dirty my whole career, bro. They stole my interim title from me because I wouldn't turn around on 4 weeks' notice. It cost me pay-per-view points. That would have been the biggest payday of my career, and they cost me that because I didn't want to turn around on 4 weeks' notice when I had a nasal surgery planned, and I just got in a 5-round fight for a world title. Why would I turn around on 4 weeks' notice? So, you know, every step of the way I've been treated like shit, and I've tried to play the company role, but you know, I'm just over it, man. It's just frustrating, and you know, there's nothing we can do about it. You just got to keep on trucking.
Yep, you do got to keep on trucking, Colby, because even Dana White's an employee now. You know, I mean, they sold out. It's the definition of selling out. You know, it started with the Fertittas and Dana White, and it went to what it is now, TKO, and I don't even know who. You know, it's a $20 billion company merged with the WWE, and Dana's just an employee himself. So, and they, you know, I highly recommend. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. Is Forrest Griffith and Stephen Bonner are what put the UFC on the map. Their fight between each other, and now Stephen Bonner's died. You know, he went out horrible, addicted to drugs, and was making selfie videos of. You know, the doctors don't want to give me no pain pills, and I'm in pain, and you know, this is all fucked up. And I think he went to jail, and then he died. And it could have been partly, you know, CTE, and a lot of those guys end up with CTE, and they can't even fucking talk when they get older. And there's no pension for them like the professional sports. It's pretty wild. I don't recommend getting into the UFC. Ever since I lived in another country, I read, watch news from other countries. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to watch it from other countries because you get a lot better perspective sometimes. You know, they don't have all the they'll tell the truth in some of those other countries a lot more than they will on our news. I thought this was kind of cool. This is a self-parking app in China for their self-driving cars. He's going to parallel park, and he's parked the other way. So he was right next to his spot, and the car was able to turn around and parallel park real quick. That's pretty impressive. I just see people being able to hack those apps where, you're 20 minutes away, but you can somehow get your spot to where people can't park there. I could see that happening. Ben Shapiro.
Josh says, quote, "Dear Ben, I've been watching a lot of your adversarial interviews lately, and I've noticed that once they run out of arguments, they always fall back on the Israel issue." Yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed this especially in Megyn Kelly's defense of Tucker Carlson, where she claimed that your issue with him and recently her all boiled down to Israel, which I believe is an incorrect characterization. They just find it convenient to blame Israel instead of facing the actual points you are making. My question is, how do you deal with people like this? People that anytime you disagree with them, just say the reason you disagree with them is because of Israel. I like the way Matt Walsh said it, people that are Israel first, but from the opposite direction, meaning the first thing they care about is being anti-Israel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So yes, they're lying. Megyn is lying, and so is Tucker. I mean, period. They're just lying. Okay. I started originally criticizing Tucker Carlson for his economic programs back in 2018. And then in the more modern post-Fox iteration of Tucker, I started criticizing Tucker over his going to Russia to sniff the bread and kiss Vladimir Putin's ass. My generalized critique of Tucker in the last few months has been, one, he hosted and glossed a Nazi, Nick Fuentes, which doesn't have to do with Israel. It has to do with glazing a Nazi, Nick Fuentes. And then I did a speech at Heritage in which I went through the fact that Tucker Carlson is in no way, shape, or form a traditional conservative. That he's a conspiratorial near-anarchist at this point, seeking to tear down the fundamental ideas and institutions of the United States.
No, you are the one that's seeking to tear down the fundamental principles of the United States. You and your Zionist, shifty Jewish friends. And I'm sick and tired of looking at these guys. I don't even know who let this fuck into our country. But him, like I said, and I'll say it again, I hope Benjamin Netanyahu was killed. I hope that those guys did take him out. And I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, they have some of the best technology and intelligence from China and Russia. So I hope he is dead, because that will take the wind out of their sails a little bit. Because they're going to have another person step up. Who's going to step up and be Benjamin Netanyahu's been doing that for 40 years to us. 40 something years we've been having to listen to that fuck. James, hello. Good to see you. So, yeah, it's just him just gaslighting, Anyway. Who remembers Mr. Dr. Fauci? The guy said, trust the science, safe and effective. We're going to mandate you to get a vaccine, boosters, but you must wear that mask at all times. Imagine having as much power as this guy. And I believe he's still a professor at some high school or some college in New York or somewhere. I never did get the vaccines or any boosters, although I did buy a fake vaccination card from a cop. I bought it from a friend who got it from a cop who was making them. Because at one point I thought that if I wanted to go to like a restaurant that I was going to have to show a vaccination card. I thought it was going to get to that point. They were doing that in Seattle. So I went ahead and bought one for like $100. I think I paid like $120 for it or something. Never used it.
But wanted to share some pretty striking remarks by former President Barack Obama, who last weekend declared his housing first mandate, the approach to homelessness that he instituted in 2013, promising it would end homelessness in a decade. He declared it now a losing political strategy, but wanted to share some pretty striking remarks.
Yeah. I think we could all assume now that that is a losing strategy. You know, those low-income housing project buildings that, you know, used to be like a store or something. They turn these weird places into where a bunch of people live. And then you see the ambulances and cops in front of them constantly. And there's a homeless encampment right outside. And the people choose to live out in the homeless encampment where the drugs are than in their apartment. It's just, yeah. Pete Hegseth. This guy, and we'll just look at a still image of him right here. He actually banned cameras from press meetings because he thought that the pictures of him that they were posting were unflattering. So they didn't want any still pictures taken of. Interesting.
Seminars on genocide through the analytic of gender. Sounds interesting. So
this is the guy who made the call to kill the schoolgirls.
Called whiteness studies. Courses that celebrate the history of Hamas, where a professor calls Islamist militants and their attacks astounding and incredible. Graduate studies that focus on the abolition of law enforcement. Classes on leadership that are just recycled garbage from the old DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion playbook. These are examples of classes that our leaders in our civilian colleges and universities too often celebrate.
You know, it's crazy because I got fooled by this guy too, because I thought he was going to come in and just like clean up the military. You know, like none of us want to have a bunch of clowns in our military. We don't want our young men to go into the military and then have bosses that are fags. You know, like, I don't care if you're gay, but you can't be a man pretending to be a woman and be a high-ranking official in the military. I'm sorry. That's just fucking gross. That's a recipe for disaster. Why even have a military? For what? If you're going to have it a fucking drag queen circus show. That makes no sense. There's no place for that in the military. Everybody's in uniform. Everybody's, you know, high and tight and follows orders, and that's it. I'm not going to follow no orders from no fucking fucking circus act. But he that's not what he's about. What he's about is killing schoolgirls in Iran and bombing fishermen in the Caribbean. And using weapons that they should not be using on people. The weapons that they used on the soldiers when they went in Venezuela. I don't think it was just soldiers. I think it was workers, civilians too. Had their fucking basically their face exploded. Eardrums, you know, busted and bleeding, nose bleeding, everything. Just complete fucking, basically microwaving them. He looked a fit for the job. He's the Fox and Friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was, right? Complete shill. You know, like a complete He's just he's definitely he's a puppet, but he's also a willing puppet. You know, that's the problem. Like I think that's part of the thing with, you know, these people have been doing this to us forever, but it's on a level right now where it just we can't buy into it. And it's never going to benefit the American people. You know, they go into Iran and, you know, like I played the video of Paul Wyman, the handler for some of the wrestlers in WWE, Brock Lesnar's handler. He said that, you know, Israel chose the one piece of land in the Middle East that doesn't have any oil. So if they invade Iran, which is going to take a decade or more to accomplish, and I think they say over 100,000 U.S. soldiers will die if they invade Iran on the ground, then all that oil they're going to steal goes to rich Zionists. Joe Della, good morning. Good to see you. He's a yes boy. Yeah. When you're CG2, when you say really you did, I totally forgot what we were talking about already. I know it had something to do with Pete Hegseth probably, but can't remember what it was. Sorry. But whatever I said, probably yes. Joe, I hope you're doing good. Happy Friday. But yeah, let's scroll on from old Petey here. Charlie Kirk's chilling Iran prediction just came true. Is this why they took him out?
Both the United States and Israeli intelligence have now officially concluded that the Iran war will not, N-O-T, not lead to regime change, which is exactly what Charlie Kirk had predicted prior to his passing. Here he is less than a year ago.
If, this is a big if bombing Fordo can't permanently destroy the nuclear program, will advocates of a limited intervention pivot to immediately demanding a full regime change war? Because a lot of people are calling for regime change right now. Lindsey Graham, James Langford, Tom Tillis. What does that even look like? Here's a big one, because you better believe the intel community has done this. They run these war games. One of the most important questions that we deserve an answer to: what are the refugee estimates of such regime change? 1 million? 5 million? It was 6 million in Syria. Who is most likely to take power next? If the Ayatollah is taken out, who's the front runner? Who's the Kelshi poly market odds-on favorite for being the successor to the Ayatollah? What do we know about him? Is he more moderate? Is he younger? Is he more religious? Is he more radical? It's Mojtaba Khamenei.
Yeah. The audio was a little bit off with that video, which is kind of, you know, makes me wonder. I seen a video the other day of, hold on, I'm going to take you guys into the kitchen with me. I'm going to make some coffee. I seen a video the other day. You're going to hear a fan real quick. Sorry. I seen a video the other day of the Cosby Show, and it was Theo Huxtable talking to, I think, one of his girlfriends or something. And it was a controversial subject. And it was crazy because what they end up doing is when they play the video, when they rerun the series now, you see an edited version. You don't see the original version. It's a shortened version where they kind of take out some of the controversy, basically, is what it is. So when I see videos about Charlie Kirk like that, it just kind of makes me wonder, are we really seeing, oh man, I might have a coffee. I think I have enough for one more. Why not have some white coffee? Are we really seeing the original video of what Charlie said there or not? Gerard, hello. I brought you up this morning about the chocolate incident because I'm selling chocolate again. The Dubai bars are for sale again. Gonna give it another shot, even though you were the last time that I tried it because you never got your chocolate, and I'm literally convinced that it was the 400-pound Samoans. I hate saying that, but that's who works at the post office by my house. I wrote chocolate on the description, and they ate my chocolate. I know it. And if that's not what happened, I don't know what happened to it. So. But it's a money-back guarantee if people don't get their chocolate. You'll order again? Right on. I pinned my, well, you probably already have my information. But I pinned my email up there, I believe. Hold on, guys. I don't have my mouse with me, so I can't see all the comments. I'll be right back. Just making my coffee, and then I'll go back in there, and we'll be back to normal. I can't function without my coffee. What I need to get is a coffee pot. I have my Keurig, which I absolutely love. But for this show, I would love to have a coffee pot so I don't have to, I can just refill my cup. Pull a Tommy Stiggs and get a thermos. All right, there we go. We're back. We're back with fresh coffee. That's awesome. So yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, is Charlie Kirk really say the things that they got him saying now? They deleted all of his videos from his show, all of his podcasts. They deleted all of them, but they still call it the Charlie Kirk Show. And then they continually say, oh, Charlie would have said this. Charlie would have said that. I'll never forget this one time I was talking with Charlie, and Charlie was telling me how wonderful I was, and that, you know, I was going to be president one day, and that Charlie was telling me that I should write a book. And, you know, Charlie was just saying how wonderful I am. And that, you know, and Charlie was always just telling me that, you know, he couldn't believe he was more popular than I was, and that I was going to be so much more popular than him one day. And, you know, Charlie was also telling, you know, I mean, that's what they constantly are fucking doing. It's just sickening. So Lindsay, what they must have on him. Yeah. Lindsey Graham. Oh, yeah, no kidding. He is a nasty one. And this one's going to just set me over the top. Sarah Huckabee, governor of Arkansas. I believe she's the governor of Arkansas. She's got Erica Kirk at the schools saying they want TPUSA in every school in America. Why do we want this lying lady who... Do you want someone who's known to be? I mean, she got so many ties. Like, pretty much, we haven't found out exactly what's going on yet, but they got ties to Epstein, big time. The France phase.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken, and most faithful leaders, Erica Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that she is doing to help encourage students across the country to engage and join Club America, which we're launching here in Arkansas, and we're just honored to have you.
Thank you. God bless you. We're so grateful, and thank you for honoring Charlie and his legacy and his mission to have a Club America on every high school chapter across the country. So God bless you guys, and thank you.
What's up, Thindu? Good morning, sir. How are you? You at work? Good time. Good. You're Charlie the tuna. That's right. Those are the commercials. Yeah, and there's a video of Erica Kirk like crying now in front of these kids, talking and wanting them to be men. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it to pop up. Her recent video. I've seen that one. She just keeps getting weirder and weirder. She's got some schoolgirls in the background. Where's it at? No. When was this one, Stu? No. Maybe I bookmarked it. Maybe we'll come across it. This is Netanyahu's family. They're in Miami, I think. I don't know exactly where this is at. But a lot of people are speculating that Benjamin Netanyahu's dead, that he was killed a few days ago. This is his family members. So why they're crying, we're not sure. But they posted a video of Benjamin Netanyahu, and it looks like it's fake.
ליצור את התנאים עבור העם האיראני, כדי שיוכל לסלק את משטר העריצות האכזרי שרודה בו כמעט יובל שנים. אנחנו מנחיתים מכות מחץ על משמרות המהפכה והבסיס, גם ברחובות וגם במחסומים, ועוד היד נטויה. אני אומר לעם האיראני, הרגע שבו תוכלו לצאת לדרך חדשה.
So this is the last video that we've seen of this guy, and people broke down this video. He's got 6 fingers on one hand at the 3-second mark. I mean, this is how internet sleuths work. And so this is obviously an AI video, and plus the sound is off. So why are they putting out a fake video of Benjamin Netanyahu right now? Does that mean he's dead? No, but there is a good possibility. Choo choo Charlie. Charlie, they took my thumb. Thindu has had Charlie Woo. Charlie's had too much, or Thindu's had way too much coffee today. Whoa. Holy smokes. What is Thindu up to this morning? You want to come up on the panel for a minute? Ask me to come up on the panel and I'll pull a Tommy Stiggs and just ignore you. Say, you want some content? Shut up and drop the link. And then I'll just say, all right, guys, I got to take a meeting in about 30 minutes. I got to take this meeting. And so let's get to the show. I know that set Thindu off big time. I seen the comment. I was watching that show. I seen the comment. Shut up and drop the link, he says. Tommy just ignores him. Just shuts it out. Just says, nope, not today. Meetings. We got Billy Squire. We got Stroke Me. Meetings. And your sisters and the Catholic Minute. But Thindu, nope, not doing it. Ain't got time for it. Thindu was pissed. Thindu said, wait till my show starts. Hope it's not too rainy out there for you. Skip that one. This is not good. Larry Silverstein, we've played his videos before. He claims he was at a dermatologist appointment, which is why he wasn't killed in 9/11. The guy who owned the Twin Towers. He bought them, and in July of 2001, spent $14 million on an insurance policy that 2 months later paid him $5.5 billion. Mr. Larry Silverstein, the Jewish Zionist that owned the Twin Towers, did he know they were going to come down? 100% absolutely. Of course he did. A bunch of people did. They're the ones who did it. He now has purchased the U.S. Bank Tower in L.A., which is a over 1,000-foot structure. So, and then all of a sudden they came out over the last few days and said that California was under watch for an Iranian attack. Wonder if they were going to hit the U.S. Bank Tower. Wonder what the insurance policy on the U.S. Bank Tower looks like, Larry. Larry? With their $5.5 billion insurance payout, Larry? Boy, some people really got Jewed in that fucking situation, didn't they, Larry? Jew motherfucker, boy. Iran trolling Donald Trump.
We have no issue with civilians.
Why did you attack the Manab school?
Go on, lie, 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 lie. We didn't hit the Manab school. America doesn't have Tomahawk missiles at all. We care deeply about the Iranian people. We have no...
So there's that. We watched that one. Poor Alex Jones. You know, I don't know if you guys know who Jimmy Dore is. But I watched Jimmy Dore a little bit. Don't really know who he is myself. But his credibility shot through the roof when he went on Alex Jones' show the other day and called Alex Jones out, saying, "What happened to you?" And he got Alex Jones backed into a corner, and Alex Jones came out spitting venom like a fucking cobra. It's funny when you get somebody, when you touch the right spot on somebody, it's like, oh, that's the sensitive spot right there. Let me poke that a little bit more, motherfucker, because we trusted you so long, and then you fucking turn your back on us. Like one of the people that we're supposed to fucking go to for the real shit, you sell out. So fuck you, Alex Jones. And Jimmy Dore called him out, and Alex Jones couldn't handle it. He could not handle it. And it was just beautiful to watch. You know, he asked him basically about Charlie Kirk and how can he believe Tyler Robinson, the theory about the 30-06, and what's his actual thoughts on it. And Alex Jones just goes, okay, so he goes on about Mitch Snow, the guy that, and Mitch Snow was the guy that said that he's seen Erica Kirk and a bunch of generals at a secret meeting on Fort Huachuca the day before the assassination. His credibility is questionable, that guy. And that's the hill that Charlie Kirk wants, or Alex Jones wants to die on. And it's kind of a long story. Jimmy Dore pulled a master class on Alex Jones, and I was just loving every second of it. Anyway, but one of the things that Alex Jones kept saying, and then it was kind of the aha moment, is he's mad because early on in the investigation of Charlie Kirk, I mean, Alex Jones will openly admit that he knows that Kash Patel is lying. He knows that the FBI is lying and that this is a cover-up. Everybody knows that this is a cover-up. That's just, I mean, it's not debatable. Obviously, it's a fucking cover-up. But he's mad because no one wants to give him credit for being the one to initially expose Kash Patel's story having holes in it. because he brought actual facts to expose him, and not just us armchair quarterback sleuths out here, internet sleuths. Well, that'll just say anything he says. So that's what he's mad. He's butthurt about that. So he's just being an asshole, and some other reasons too. But anyway, this is and then you see the tagline in this one. It says, "Grok admits I am right about the Iran war crisis." Okay, Alex, you're right.
People ask Grok, and I posted it below, whether I was incorrect that Trump's hit the panic button about the Iran war. Trump is saying it's over. Trump wants to shut it down now. I said this 11 days ago when it started, that the administration was being set up, that they'd block the Strait of Hormuz, that the regime wouldn't fall. That's what the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff warned Trump about. It's what Eric Prince said publicly. These are military experts. I don't like the mullahs. All these posters are saying, why are you siding with the Muslims? I'm not doing that. I'm siding with reality. Plus, every time we go over there and blow up their countries, they then ship the refugees here. But notice, Rock says, no, it could be sensational, but overall it's true what Jones is saying. Sensational, this war is sensational. The downside is insane. I told people 11 days ago this would not go well. Trump said 4 days, didn't work. Then he said it'll take 20 years, we'll keep fighting, we're going to destroy you. Now he wants out of it, declared victory. That's good. Declare victory, leave. That's my advice 11 days ago. That's the facts. I stand with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and others. And not all you armchair quarterbacks, they'll tell you this stuff, don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I didn't even watch this video. He literally just said what I said about the armchair quarterbacks. I can read this guy like a book. That is so funny. I didn't even watch this video. And it's like, I basically just said verbatim, I'm going to take all the credit, Alex. It was me.
You're talking about. The Trump recovery won't work if there's others. And not all you armchair quarterbacks, they'll tell you this stuff, don't know what you're talking about. The Trump recovery won't work if there's inflation. These oil prices go another month, they'll derail that, which is what the big banks want to kill Trump's recovery. They used the COVID lockdowns to kill his last recovery. Now they're using war. Wake up and grow up and be serious.
Yeah, and see, what Alex does, what he's really good at is he's good at just being really, really matrixy and shifty with his words and his government big words and and going back and forth and just try to mind fuck you. You don't even know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. Try to follow him talk about the court case with him being shut down by the federal government for Sandy Hook. When he starts talking about that, is he shut down? Is he not shut down? I mean, it's impossible to know what he's talking about. I've listened to him say it like 100 times and I still get confused. He'll fucking say anything to stay away from the important subjects. Nobody cares about all that stuff about the banks and all that kind of shit. What we care about is narrowing down to why and who killed Charlie Kirk. There's nothing more important. They can go to war, that and Epstein. What the funny thing is that this is all related. Charlie Kirk would have been the one probably to give us the goods on Epstein and break it down better than anybody. And come to find out that there's a good chance that the reason why Elon Musk and Doge went into and stole all those files and stuff like that, they were actually went in there and destroyed Epstein files. It was all a big lie. They weren't in there fucking trying to expose the government for corruption or fraud. No. They went in there and destroyed the Epstein evidence. And I believe that that's what they did. Not only that, they got all of our personal data. And they're using it now. They got all of our fucking personal information. It's not good. Why do you think Trump had Charlie whacked? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, Magooch. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. He definitely doesn't, they all act like there's nothing there. They all act like they can't, that there's nothing wrong with the fact that it's obviously not a 30-06. Nobody is addressing that. It's like the huge elephant in the room. Everybody's like, no, I see nothing wrong with it. Nope. It's very odd. So when Sarah Huckabee had Erica Kirk at the school, a lot of kids and parents are not happy about it, nor would I be, and they're protesting outside of her mansion.
I'm here outside the governor's mansion where protests are growing against Erica Kirk being here. Now, many protesters have told me that if Turning Point gets to be in schools, then so does the Young Democrats of Arkansas. They say that teachers are not at the forefront of education anymore, and they're disappointed. We'll have more for you.
Not a fan of protests, of outside protesting with signs. Not a fan of it. Everybody knows that. But I am a fan of protesting in the sense of not staying out of school. You know, don't go to school if they're going to be there, and demanding that the schools kick Turning Point USA out of your school, unless you want there to be it be okay for there to be grooming and trafficking and prostitution and any type of pedophilia is okay. It's funny because Baron Coleman did an episode where he was talking about Jerry Sandusky, if you guys remember that story. And he's still in prison, 84 years old Jerry Sandusky. I mean, that's one sick guy. I mean, that I listened to that story again a couple days ago. I was like, man, what a motherfucker, man. And Joe Paterno died a couple months after that whole thing when he was fired. Probably a pedophile himself, Joe Paterno. That these guys are all related. Like, this is one huge global sex trafficking cabal, and we've dialed in on it. And why would we want them around our kids? Because he would have buried everyone. Yep. Yeah. Yep. It's wild. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this. Porsche symbol turns into the swastika when spun. Mm-hmm. Corporate logos and secret symbolism is all embedded in. There's lots of companies that use the swastika. Microsoft, Columbia, just to name a couple. The big one is the ring of Saturn. The Nike swoosh is the ring of Saturn. Newport uses the ring of Saturn. Newport cigarettes. Boeing. There's a ton of them that use that one. The reptilian eye. All of these things are embedded in corporate logos. McDonald's is interesting. McDonald's logo is supposed to be the top view of of a mother's breasts. If you're looking down, it's a woman's breast, and it's supposed to give you, the reminder of a baby sucking on a mother's breast for milk. I read that somewhere. Whether that's true or not, the golden arches, if that's really what it is, who knows? Burger King is like, it's the sun, and I can't remember exactly what's all in Burger King's logo. You can go down rabbit holes about that stuff. It's pretty interesting. But if you think about a corporate logo, like a company that's on the Fortune 500 list, they have a corporate logo. And it's, there's all kinds of things that are embedded in those logos. Like FedEx, for example, has the hidden arrow in it. Amazon is A to Z with the smile. There's all kinds of different little Pretty wild. Anyway, let's move on. This guy's from my state. He was a professor at Evergreen College. Brett, can remember his last name. So a couple years ago, Israel gave a bunch of pagers with bombs in them to, I think, people in Lebanon, maybe Iran. I don't know exactly where. Killed a bunch of people that way. Israel also gave a golden pager to Trump. And a lot of people think that was taken as a threat, not as a gift. All of our cell phones at one point, you could open up the back of them and take your battery out. Chances are your phone, you can't access your battery now. You cannot open your phone. So there's a very good chance that there could be explosive devices in all of our phones. You know, if what they say is true, that a cell phone doesn't work without Israeli parts inside of it, then, you know, if they're able to get bombs in pagers, they can put them in the cell phones. And so the fact that we can't access the back and the battery anymore is kind of worrisome.
At the time. And then to have Netanyahu, I broke my rule, incidentally. I don't call him Bibi, and I did earlier.
See you, Joe.
Sorry. Netanyahu then later delivers a speech in a totally separate context, of course, could mean nothing, where he's bragging that every cell phone of everybody in the room has Israeli technology in it. Whoa. That makes you think, you know, and mind you, I'm not telling you that there's a threat there or a technology to be carried out. What I'm telling you is that feels like it is designed to divide us, where some of us will hear that in one way and others will hear it in a different way, and we will become ununderstandable to each other.
Let's just depoliticize it for a second and certainly deracialize it, which, you know, that's the core sin, is conflating global Jewry with the state of Israel or Bibi Netanyahu. It's like just insane. I will never accept that. It's not true. Obviously, you're living proof it's not true. But just take all of that away. Here you have a guy who brags about fighting a 7-front war. So I don't think it's ever happened in history. Has any country ever fought a 7-front war, whatever that is? He's one of the most violent people in the world. So any allusion to violence has to be taken seriously, including gifts of pagers. I don't know. It's like you need to experience the world on a literal level first before you start interpreting. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
How about a basket of olives or some dates, which are some of the best in the world? Israel produces amazing dates, I can say firsthand, and a lot of other things. But why a pager?
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of the, I don't know who said it first, but, you know, a gentleman is someone who is never rude by accident, right? Yeah. This strikes me as messages. We are talking about sophisticated people who are sending ambiguous.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. And it's very unsettling to think about, you know. And we've all seen phones catch on fire and do things like that, you know. Pretty wild. This guy, Doge lead in a deposition, details how he emailed documents to his personal device to then send with Signal. So this kid had access to all of our private information, and he's, you know, some computer hacker, and he's setting up, you know, he's sending all of our private information to his own personal email accounts he's setting up.
Mr. Davis, including, well, in the context of you emailing yourself, I think you were saying, and then using that email on Signal to send to Mr. Davis. Do you remember talking about that with Mr. Robinson earlier?
I do.
Okay. Walk me through that process exactly.
There was a weekly scorecard, as it was called, where we reported on savings across each agency. It was black text in an Excel spreadsheet file. that was downloaded. Steve preferred that to be sent over Signal. Signal is not on a government device, so we downloaded it and sent it to Steve on Signal. That was the extent of.
So Mr. Davis was not on a government device?
I don't know if he was on a government device or not. I know he preferred to receive the scorecard on Signal.
Do you know whether Mr. Davis had a government email?
I believe he had an EOP email address that he did not use.
Okay. And you never communicated with him on that email address?
I'm sure I sent him an email or two, but it was incredibly infrequent.
So yeah, we got these little punks out there in the government stealing our shit and giving it to God knows who. Man. Trump views Netanyahu's pager as a threat.
As a threat. And it's hard for me to imagine. I can imagine the meeting in which somebody says, hey, maybe we should send President Trump a golden pager after our successful operation. Somebody should immediately shoot that idea down and say, no, we can't do that because it could be read in another way, right? So anyway, as we are struggling to understand what is taking place in our country, why...
I think it was received that way too.
You do?
I do.
Well, you're not making me feel better.
I mean, come on now. Come on.
Right.
Now. You know, yeah. What?
It's a way of saying all of these non-Jews, all of these goyim who have been condemned to death at the hands of the Jews, at the hands of the self-proclaimed chosen ones, every man, every woman, every child, every animal who the Jews believe that they have been sent by G-D to wipe out. That's what that means. And that's what Benjamin Netanyahu is calling the Iranians. It's what he calls the Palestinians as well. And as Benjamin Netanyahu prepares to send American troops into battle, as he uses the occupied military machine that he has seized control of to aid his spiritual mission to establish Greater Israel, he's sitting back and he is smiling. He's taking great satisfaction and pleasure in sending the American Amalek into battle to kill and die so that his people don't have to.
Collective punishment is the opposite of what we believe. That's what Israel believes. And that's why on a basic level, Israel does not have a Western outlook, because the Israeli government believes it is okay to kill people on the basis of their bloodline. They are Amalek, as the prime minister often says, again and again and again. This is Amalek. Kill not just the perpetrator, but his wife, his children, their children, his pets. This is a theological concept that Christians and the West reject as grotesque and evil.
Yeah, we reject that to our core. I mean, the mob, for example, does the mob go after women and children? I mean, that's like rule number one. You don't do that. And that's their MO. That's their go-to, is kill the kids. And it's obvious when, you know, you see who's running this war right now. Of course it's Israel, because the first thing they did was kill the kids. They killed the women and the children. They bombed the Iranian school. That's their tactic. That's what they do. Because they're Amalek, however you say it. It's pretty disgusting. Gianni Catalano, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Thindu's out there somewhere in the bushes, half naked, with overly thick glasses on, You know, he wears those big, thick black goggles that the creepy construction workers wear when you're out there, you know, for no reason. In Sicily, they sure do kill women and kids. That's just America doesn't kill them. Oh, interesting. Wow, Sicily, they don't play around in Sicily, huh? Wow. Yeah, America really is, you know, like the best place to live, right? That's why we can't tolerate these foreign outlooks. This is a place where everybody can come be whatever you want to be. You want to be Jewish, fine. You want to be Christian, great. You want to be Buddhist, Islamic, Hebrew, I don't know. They might all be the same. You know, whatever you want to be. You want to be Wiccan, you want to be pagan, Mormon, whatever. Church of Latter-day Saints. You can even worship the devil in the United States. I mean, there's satanic worship everywhere. You can be a Freemason. But what you're not supposed to be able to do is take your religion and call people less than, and I can kill you and your family because you're not part of our cult. That can't happen, and that's what is happening. Don't you think Trump knows he is making don't you think Trump knows he is making him think he's using him, and then when it's all over, Trump is going to kill Netanyahu? Well, he might have already gotten him, Magooch. And that is a possibility. You know, maybe this is a way to get rid of the blackmailers and you know, it's a possibility. The problem is that, you know, that Zionist movement they control everything. They control the media. They control the banks. They control everything. They have everything. So I don't know. But yeah, of course he knows, right? I mean, of course. Bill C, good morning. Good to see you. But I'll tell you what, politics is a fucking beast. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Mitt Romney when he was running. And he's right. You know, he goes, you're in the big boys club now when you run for president. He goes, and you don't really, most people can't really handle that type of smoke. It is you know, you can get shot, anything can happen in politics, you know. And we probably don't even know the half of it. I'm sure we don't even know the half of it, of the real story. You know what I mean? Like what really goes on. Is it not just, you know, say blackmail evidence, but biological and chemical and neurological? And I mean, are there really like breakaway scientists out there that, you know, basically run shit because they have all the technology? You know, they control the germs and the pathogens, and, you know, they can wipe out entire populations if they want to. Shit like that. You know, there's like so many things to think about. Trump is smart for all of them. He is going to make it look like another country killed Netanyahu. It's a possibility. And I hope that's true, Magooch. I hope that is true. And I do. I believe that something happened to Bibi. Either he's just a coward and he's in hiding, or he really is dead. And I pray that he is. You know, I don't want to live the rest of my life dealing with this bullshit. You know, we only got so much time left on Earth. I don't want to deal with Benjamin Netanyahu, you know. And these people somehow find ways to live to fucking 100 years old or longer. Meanwhile, you know, we're dying at fucking 60, 70 years old. Some of us. Hopefully not, but you know what I mean. Fuck that guy. So, and you know, I know a lot of people are openly saying that. A lot of people have openly said that they hope Iran wins the war. I'm not going that far, but I'm not mad at those people that said that, because I understand what they're trying to say. You know, They're pissed off that our government killed those girls. That's what it is. We're sick. You can't do that. You can't. There's no, that's just fucking disgusting, man. No, it's no other way about it. It's so wrong on so many levels. And that's what they did. And they don't care. That's what they do. And then you think about Epstein and all this other bullshit and maybe why, that this is possibly a distraction from Epstein and kind of, but not really, but I guess it is kind of. And they're killing, they just violate these kids, man. It's unfathomable. Why do you think he lets him break bread at Mar-a-Lago? His people are studying yeah, I totally agree with that, Magooch. You know, it's crazy to think about the spy world. Okay. It's me against Magooch. And Magooch is going to win every time because you have all the money but it's just, that's a bad example. But I'm just saying, if we start out equal, I'm going to get some information on you. You're going to get some information on me. You get bigger than me. I get bigger than you. I can physically threaten you. I make a gun. You make a bomb. I make a missile. You make a nuke. I have germ warfare. You have biological weapons. You have the computer skills, the hacking skills. I control all the money. I mean, to think about that dynamic on the world where truly there's no law. It's just power struggles. These people are above the law. They create the laws. But the global geopolitical power struggle is very fascinating to think about. The deep state. I mean, you look at the Pentagon. I think the Pentagon is like made up of like 50 buildings if you break it in, maybe more than that. It's huge. It's a huge complex. Huge complex. I mean, it's wild. Johnny, he's rocking him to sleep. Yep. You see Iran writing in remembrance to the victims of Epstein Island on their missiles? No, I didn't see that. That's hilarious. That's fucking awesome. He's been over to USA a lot of times since many times. Yeah, I hope that that's what it is, And I will hold out hope. We shall see soon what all comes about. Damn Brazilian talking to Sneeko about Andrew Tate, just influencer drama. We'll skip that. Huckabee. Mike Huckabee, and I believe Sarah Huckabee is the daughter of this guy. Go figure. She's with Erica Kirk. And he is basically insinuating that Israel, before it bombs people, will drop leaflets down warning civilians to get out of the way. And that we don't do that.
Do you know what Israel does? They drop leaflets and they announce where they're going to hit. Nobody does that. The U.S. doesn't do that.
Your dig at the United States is very revealing. And as an American, permit me a moment of outrage. So why the dig at the United States?
I did not take a dig at the U.S. What I'm saying is...
So the IDF is more humane than the U.S.
I'm saying...
Military. Do you believe that? And that has been, if there's one consistent lesson of history, it means unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter. Everyone can feel that. That's like the most atavistic instinct there is. And so to avoid that, people will do anything. And so that's why it requires that level of force to get a population subdued to the point of unconditional surrender. That's why.
Do you know what Israel
I'm on my mute minute, just rambling away, and the microphone's muted. No, it's very true, Magooch. It's, you know, they always say that Trump plays chess, 3D chess, 5D chess. And I think that those guys are easily manipulated because they're so arrogant. And that you could be right. You know, and I hope you are right that Trump is kind of playing like he's, you know, just into himself and a little geriatric, and he's just kind of fucking dog walking these guys. Dog walking them right to sleep into a trap. The ether, yes. Can't help but to think of Wag the Dog, yes. Yep, the Monica Lewinsky scandal when Clinton bombed, I think, Afghanistan, right? I think that's when he tried to get bin Laden, actually, to get away from that. Doesn't work anymore with the internet. Might have worked when, you know, Wag the Dog worked on when it was just network television. It doesn't work with social media. You know what I mean? We're like now, especially, we can have these conversations. It doesn't work on us anymore. You know, it does to an extent, but not as much as it used to. When the devil romances your heart, he's going for your soul. Yeah, so true. Serbia, okay. Trump knows what he's doing. Man gets things done. Yeah, he does. Yeah. This lady breaks down Erica Kirk a little bit.
I have to be the sole provider for my children.
What the fuck? I have not felt hatred for Erica Kirk. I haven't, you know. Hate the sin, love the sinner. I'll play that card. But I have never wanted to smack a bitch the way I want to smack a bitch right now. My God. 10 million from his Turning Point life insurance. I don't know how much his personal was, but he was good with money. I'm sure it was fine. All these various fundraising things set up. At least $20 million, millions of dollars, $20 given here and there by single moms who really fucking need it. Ugh. She has to be one of the most dislikable people on the planet. All this aside, all this, like, if you didn't know Charlie, my God, if you worked with her, if you went to school with her, message me, please. I want to know. So unlikable.
Your family. What is your relationship like with Kim, with your kids?
Kim has Zionist media handlers surrounding her, all in and out her Hulu TV show, all in and out her family, all in or out the house that I created for my family. But God is alive. The devil is a defeated foe.
Your family. What is
Another mute minute. Kanye was way ahead of his time. He was, you know, everybody was like, oh, he's crazy. And, you know, we knew, nobody, you know, I knew what a Zionist was back in 2007 is when I first heard it, because that's when the documentary Zeitgeist came out. And it was a 3-part documentary about religion, the money system, and the Twin Towers coming down. And that's when I first heard that term, Jewish Zionist. Larry Silverstein, Jewish Zionist, owner of the Twin Towers. And I didn't know what it meant, but that's the first time that I heard that term. Now I get it. Now it's all making sense. Man, if we could have woken up in 2007, the whole world. We're 20 years behind. It's crazy. They keep, Candace was talking about this, that they always use kids for their satanic rituals. Oklahoma City bombing. Remember they bombed the daycare at the bottom? Iran just now that they bombed the kids. Just like so many examples that Candace was like make all these examples about when the kids die. And then 9/11, when they told George Bush that initially that we were under attack.
Yes, yes. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Steal. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must.
That kind of doesn't do it justice of the whole video. If you guys have never seen that video before, a guy goes into George Bush's ear and says, sir, we're under attack or whatever. And he gets that crazy look on his face. But I believe he was in Florida because his brother was governor at the time, Jeb Bush. He was at some school in Florida, I believe. And that teacher had those kids saying, the plane must hit steel at the exact time that he was informed about 9/11. These are not accidents. These are, it's all by design. And most people will say that that's cuckoo talk, and it is cuckoo talk. But literally, this it's fucking crazy. It'll make you crazy to even fucking go down those rabbit holes. Let's see here. Kanye is definitely batshit. He may be right, but he ain't right. That addict got a lot of bats in it. Yeah. You never know with that guy, right? I'm babysitting Lola from today till Monday. My nephew left for Canada till Monday night. Oh, wow. You're living my daughter's dream. That's awesome. All right, let's see what else we got here. Turn the music down. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, the music is enough of the music, right? Ding a ding 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 ding. Hollywood actor Terrence Howard told PBD that the Game of Thrones forced incest porn on millions. And it's crazy because, and that could be true. I never watched that show. I can't stand PBD. And apparently PBD tried to make it about Iran and Muslims somehow.
We're watching Game of Thrones, and I swear to God, if I see the actor Joffrey anywhere, I'm gonna be like, this guy. Like, you literally watch it. You're like, what a piece of, you watch The Mom, you watch some movies.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones messed me up, and I think it messed up a lot of the world because it got everybody into incest porn, because people started watching it. And how many people turned off the TV when Jamie and Cersei's hooked up? Or how many people got quiet and watched it? That was the incest that was pushed inside of Game of Thrones and the House of Dragons. It's almost being normalized in a sense. But I bet you incest porn went up from Game of Thrones. It's presented for 7-8 years in front of you. Now it's normal.
And that's why I don't watch TV, and I don't have Netflix or Hulu or Paramount Plus or Disney Plus or nothing. I don't watch any of that stuff. I get it all from X or YouTube. I choose to watch what I watch. The last time I ever watched a series other than Cobra Kai was in 2018. Everybody was talking about the Ozarks is so great. The Ozarks is so great. You got to watch the Ozarks. So I watched the first episode with Jason Bateman, which I was always a fan of him from Valerie and Hogan's Family. And it's a dude butt fucking another guy. And I was so pissed off, I just turned it off. And I haven't watched anything since other than Cobra Kai. That was 2018. I mean, that's how I roll, because that's exactly what they're doing. And I knew something was up when, the Game of Thrones was better than peanut butter and jelly, apparently, for a while there. That's all everybody talked about. Game of Thrones. Why is it so amazing? Why is it so amazing to watch Game of Thrones? And yeah, that's why they wanted everybody to watch it. That's why it got pushed so heavily in the media, is because over the last couple decades, they've really been pushing, homosexuality, transgenderism, and now they're taking it to a whole new level. How can you ever prosecute the leadership for being pedophiles when you make the whole population all fucked up? I think that's kind of their plan. That's why I don't watch that shit. Patricia Bet David, yes, exactly. Patricia's a good name. I gave all the men off today that are laboring for the Avery, so they have a 3-day weekend and come back fresh on Monday. It was downpouring this morning and really haven't had any rain. Right on. That's cool, Magooch. Nice. I bet they appreciate that. It's snowing here. We haven't had, I seen a couple flakes a few weeks ago. And it is coming down. There's probably about a half an inch on my car. Huge flakes because it's it's probably barely cold enough to snow and absolutely no wind. So it's just like these huge flakes just coming down. So I might hold off on going and buying strawberries this morning. I don't know. We shall see. I don't think it'll be too bad. Hopefully it stops here pretty soon. It's only 7:30. Donald Trump is a coward. He betrayed all of us. Candace breathes fire. She's a little upset. Now, I think she needs to talk to Magooch. I understand where she's coming from because with the Charlie Kirk assassination and that being her friend, hopefully, I doubt it, but hopefully Trump is going to come through with what really happened and tell us that it was Israel and that's why they killed Benjamin Netanyahu, and there's been an internal struggle, power struggle, and they finally got rid of the cockroaches. Hopefully that's what they come out and say. But until we get to the bottom of Charlie Kirk, we're going to be upset.
So look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether because it kind of sickens me, as it should. It should. If you were 2015, 2016, running around in MAGA hat, catching all of the figurative bullets for supporting him, standing up to the never Trumpers who are now running his administration, this level of deceit and betrayal should sicken you, right? The human spirit isn't really meant to contend with that sort of deceit. You're not supposed to even fathom a scenario where someone like Charlie Kirk quite literally dedicates his entire professional career, builds up an organization meant to help Trump, to empower Trump, conservative principles, one way or the other. And in return, when Charlie Kirk is assassinated in front of the world, Trump just dedicates a total of two tweets, 3 tweets at most, to demanding, and he'd never demanded an investigation. And one of those tweets that he dedicates to Charlie Kirk is an AI image of Charlie hugging an Israeli flag. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Trump has shown more interest in debunking the mainstream media narrative about whether or not he's balding than he showed any interest in investigating who murdered a person who was supposed to be his dear friend. It was, I will employ every reason. Nope. He was good. So how exactly are we supposed to process that? We are to simply understand, I think, that Trump has loyalty to no one but himself. It probably wasn't even anything that deep that they offered him. It was probably just like, hey, we'll give you a piece of real estate in Gaza with your name on it. Also, favorable headlines in the New York Times. We put that on your desk every morning and we tell you this is how everybody thinks. You think they still have power. Honestly, that's probably all it took for Trump to betray not just the legacy and the memory of Charlie Kirk, but also his supporters, the very supporters who followed him into battle. Some who literally spent time in prison after January 6th because they believed in him. Trump has betrayed every last single one of us, okay? Make no mistake about that. Trump is now a never Trumper. The very people that we had to fight to get Trump into office, he is now partnered with and insulting us. And he thinks that we're too stupid to notice or something, that he promised low gas prices, that he promised no more forever wars, no more involvement in Middle East conflict. And we're now getting the exact opposite. And that's happening because he's a coward. He is a coward for doing this to the American people. And that's going to be his legacy. His legacy is going to be a person who could not stand up to Bibi Netanyahu, a person who just loves money and loves the idea of his name on anything. This is what the world will remember about Donald Trump.
Damn, I'm on another muted minute. Shit. I always go on these tangents and then I'm muted. Yeah, no, I get why she's upset. I think I give Trump until June to convince me otherwise. You know, like I'm still on the fence about it. I think she does need to talk to Magooch. If we find out that Netanyahu's dead, then yeah, Trump's right back in there with me. Oh, right back in there. I mean, 100%. Then, you know, then we'll find out what happened with Charlie Kirk. You know, it's, I don't know. We'll see. 2 mute minutes now, right? Right, CG2? Dang it. I got to run, have a meet a delivery. I thought you were going to say meeting. I was going to call you Tommy. Have to meet a delivery truck at the warehouse. I'll catch you 15 days later. Good show, Sada. Be listening. All right. Yes, we'll see you, Johnny. Have a good one. Take her easy. Yeah, well, that was the last video that I had too, anyways. Believe it or not. Let me see here. 3-9. I think I've been on since then. Yeah. It's funny. There was this guy or this lady put, I'm unfollowing or blocking anyone that talks shit about Miss Erica Kirk. I've had enough. That's it. That's the post. That's what you put. And I put, are you talking about the pedo trafficking groomer? And 26 people like that comment, which is just funny. That's a lot for X. All right, guys. I am going to go. No, I don't announce your meetings. That's funny. Right on, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Magooch, CG2, Gianni, James, Tommy, Joe Della, Gerard. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And again, if you want to buy any chocolate,
Yummy.
you can go to osadatreats@gmail.com and email me, and I can give you the prices and everything. Did I spell that right? Mossada Treats. Yeah. So just in case anybody wants to buy any Dubai bars, will be the main thing that I have for sale. But I appreciate everybody hanging out, and we will talk to you next time.